Hello again, my name's Gabe Zona. I want you to sort of play along with me. Let's pretend that we all agree that Barack Hussein Obama is in fact the Manchurian candidate, was selected by King Abdullah to take apart America from within. Pretend that we all agree on that. I saw a video. I tried to Google for it, couldn't find it. I saw it a couple of years ago. And what the video was about, it was a government experiment. And what they did is they took an individual and they drugged him. And then they used certain words to trigger certain acts in him. One of the words that they used would have him shoot to kill one of his friends. I couldn't believe the video. What happened was his friend was speaking at some kind of a meeting. He walked in, heard the words that triggered the event, and he shot his friend. He didn't know that the gun was loaded with blanks and his friend wasn't at all injured, but his friend played along with it. When they questioned him about what he did, he had no recollection, none whatsoever. When they showed him the videotape of his actions, he couldn't believe it. He thought he had killed his friend, and he had no recollection of ever having done that. I wish I could find that video. If any of my viewers out there find it, I mean, I know it exists. I just don't know the right words to put together to try and find it. Now, for those of you that saw James Egan Holmes, the Colorado shooter, do you remember what he sort of looked like when he was first captured? Well, he had that red beard. The hair was a bright red, but his eyes were like he was clearly out of his mind. They were wide open. He looked like he was out of his mind. Now, when Jarred Lee Loughner went ahead and did the shootings in Tucson, he shot Gabriel Gifford, he killed a judge, killed a little girl, a number of other innocent people. Do you remember what he first looked like when he was captured? He too looked like he was out of his mind. Now, one thing you have to agree with, in order for someone to commit those horrific crimes, they have to be out of their minds. Do they not? Now let's go to Adam Lanza, the Sandy Hook shooting. Well, we don't know because we've never seen Adam Lanza, dead or alive. Now, how about Eddie Trey Roth? Do you know who Eddie Trey Roth is? Well, Eddie Trey Roth is the killer of Chris Kyle and Chris Kyle's friend. Again, we don't know what he looked like when he was arrested. But again, you'd have to assume someone would be out of their minds to do what Eddie Roth did to Chris Kyle and Chris's friend. What we've been told, and even in the movie American Sniper, they allude to the fact that Eddie Tay Roth's mother had called Chris Kyle and asked if he would help her son, who was suffering from PST. Now, Chris Kyle, being the generous, benevolent kind of guy that he is, agreed to help her son. And they picked him up and they all went to a gun range. And that's when the crime took place. Now, have we seen any toxicology reports on any of these? And even if we saw them, which we haven't, but even if we saw them, who's to say that they're real or haven't been altered? Someone has to be completely insane to do what those individuals did. Now, if you go back a whole lot of years, there was a shooter that climbed up a tower and he killed an awful lot of people. And when he was finally killed, if I'm not mistaken, they determined that he had a tumor on his brain. Once again, you have to be out of your mind to kill people, innocent people. I'm not suggesting that there was a conspiracy to kill any of these people that were killed. But someone needs to explain to me and to you why James Holmes looked like he was out of his mind, while Jarred Lee Loughner looked like he was out of his mind. Now, what do we know? Well, we know that this administration has tried countless ways, Fast and Furious being one of them, to take away our Second Amendment rights. We know that they put together a false flag on Sandy Hook to again take away our Second Amendment rights. We know that they did another false flag at the Navy shipyards where an African American killed a number of people before he himself was killed. So we don't know if he was on drugs. I didn't see a toxicology report, did you? What I'm saying is that I believe that this administration will do anything and everything to take away our Second Amendment rights. I posted MVI 5048, our guns keep all Americans safe. I believe that to be true. I believe that there's been a conspiracy in this country for many years. I believe that the Bushes were involved in the conspiracy. I posted a couple of videos a while ago, and it showed George Bush, G.W. Bush, kissing, hugging, holding hands with King Abdullah. I'm absolutely convinced that Barack Hussein Obama is the Manchurian candidate, created to destroy America from within. That's the only way you can destroy America. You can't attack it head on in the open. It's the old Trojan horse technique. I also posted a video and I talked about, well, actually I did a number of videos where I talked about the scars on Obama's head. And one I posted recently talked about a doctor, a neurologist, who said that they definitely appeared to look like someone that had brain surgery. What else explains Obama's inability to string more than 3 words together without a pregnant pause? Unless he's reading the information. The Secret Service has to know that there's nobody home. The light switches off most of the time. The problem that I guess King Abdullah had is they've made such an incredible investment in Obama of hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars, of 50 years, 55 years in supporting this enterprise. They had no idea that this Kenyan-born boy that they tried to portray as being born in Hawaii was destined to become president, which is what they destined him to become. But they had no idea that he'd turn out to be a homosexual. They had no idea that he turned out to be a pothead and moved on to crack cocaine. They had no idea that he got involved in some kind of an accident that required him to have brain surgery. But they kept putting the pieces of the puzzle together to achieve their ultimate objective. So far, they haven't been able to do that. I'm absolutely convinced that if we would have given up our guns based on Fast and Furious, based on Sandy Hook, based on any of the other idiotic shootings in Tucson, in Colorado, well, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now. I would have probably been exterminated, and you'd be in a FEMA camp. You know, I did a video on Islamabad. I don't know if you saw that. If you didn't, you're missing out. And Islamabad has been around for a long time, I think over 30 years. They're in New York by the Pennsylvania border. It's a compound, an Islamic compound, an Islamic extremist compound. Those two words, Obama can't put together. And the reason he can't put them together is Muslims cannot talk disparagingly about other Muslims. That's why he didn't go to Paris when approximately 50 world leaders went to Paris. The pieces of the puzzle all fit. All you have to do is look at them. What else explains James Holmes and Jarred Loughner's insane appearance? Do they look at all normal to you? What would cause someone to do anything like that? Other than, as I mentioned, that Texas shooter who they found during his autopsy that he had a large growth of cancer in his brain. You have to be mentally unbalanced to take someone else's life. Think of yourself. I don't care how old you are, but think of yourself. Think of all you had to do, the time, the investment, everything that had to be in place for you to be where you are right now. 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, 70 years. And someone can take and destroy all that in an instant. Again, you'd have to be out of your mind. Sadly, I believe most extremist Muslims that can go cut someone's head off is out of his or her mind. And I also believe, as I've said countless times, that Barack Hussein Obama is the Manchurian candidate, was created by King Abdullah to disassemble America from the inside. He's weakened our military. He's infiltrated his Muslim Brotherhood cronies throughout every key cabinet position in our country. He's aligning himself with countries like Cuba. He's protecting Iran so they can continue the further development of their atomic bomb. Speaker John Boehner invited the Prime Minister of Israel to come and address Congress to talk about the threat of Iran and to talk about the threat of the Islamic extremists. President Barack Hussein Obama said that he won't meet with Prime Minister Netanyahu when he's here because protocol was broken. How insane is that? What that is that's any branch that Obama can hold on to, which is nothing but a pure lie. Obama hates Netanyahu. Go Google some of the videos where you saw Obama meeting with Netanyahu in the Oval Office. Look at the body language. I've actually made videos and I talked about that. Look at the body language. Look at the hatred coming out of Obama's eyes. During one of the meetings, Obama said, well, I'll see you later. I'm going to have dinner with my family. And left the Prime Minister of Israel sitting there by himself. Yet when a Muslim comes to visit, like that jackass president from Turkey, Obama couldn't accommodate him any more than he did. Folks, you have to be completely blind not to see the truth. Am I saying that these individuals were drugged by our government? Yeah. That's exactly what I'm saying. That is exactly what I'm saying. Unless they've got some kind of serious mental disorder, which no one's told us they have. That's exactly what I'm saying. They will stop at nothing to achieve their objective. They are intent on turning America into an Islamic state. And Barack Hussein Obama? Well, if you think of his position as President of the United States, think of the position he'll have once he's achieved his objective. It's crazy, folks. It's scary. Again, go Google James Holmes when he was arrested. Google Loughner when he was arrested. Tell me that they look remotely normal. Again, they couldn't be. I told you what I think. So what do you think?